Hello, everyone.
Yes, you.
The Info on the Go listener.
This one's for you.
Whether you've been with us since episode 1 or you just hopped on the bus, we want to take a moment to say thank you.
Your curiosity, support, and enthusiasm fuel every story we tell and every mile we travel together.
Because of you, we've explored history, science, culture, and the wonderfully weird from canned meat to color coded buses, and we're just getting started.
So, from the bottom of our podcasting hearts, thank you for listening, sharing, subscribing, and being a part of our growing community.
You make this journey meaningful and way more fun.
Stay curious
Stay kind.
and stay tuned
There's always more to learn.
on Info on the Go. Hi, I'm William,
And I'm Kat,
and that makes this Info on the Go.
answering questions you want to know. Did you pick this one?
I did because, as we'll see, what we might think of as a simple concept really changed the world, dramatically changed the world.
You don't say. Well,
Yeah.
what are we talking about today?
The steam engine on this episode of Info on the Go.
A steam engine is a machine that turns heat energy from steam into mechanical energy that can move things like trains or machines. And here's how it works, step by step. You have a boiler. You start by heating water in a big metal container called a boiler. When the water gets really hot, it turns into steam or hot water vapor.
Pressure builds up, the steam takes up more space than water, so it creates a lot of pressure inside the boiler. Think of it like blowing up a balloon. The steam wants to escape because it needs room.
And steam goes into the cylinder. The high pressure steam is sent through pipes into a cylinder. Inside the cylinder is a piston, which is like a strong metal plug that fits tightly inside.
Pistons move, the steam pushes the piston, making it slide back and forth inside the cylinder. This is the key movement that powers the engine.
Converting movement. The piston is connected to a rod called a connecting rod, which turns the piston's back and forth movement into a circular motion.
Powering wheels. This circular motion is then used to turn wheels like on a train or machines in a factory.
And steam releases. After pushing the piston, the steam leaves the cylinder through an exhaust valve and either goes into the air or is cooled down and turned back into water.
Have you ever heard of like a boiler explosion on like steamships and trains?
Yes. I
Uh,
mean, I have definitely heard of boiler explosions, just not specifically on trains or ships.
Yeah. And so when you hear about that, those release valves are really what causes that explosion, not releasing that pressure before it just explodes.
Right.
All right. In short, a steam engine uses steam pressure to push a piston back and forth, and that movement gets turned into spinning wheels or other motions that power machines.
An alopile is considered the first recorded steam engine in history.
It was invented in the first century AD by Hero, or Heron, of Alexandria, a Greek engineer and mathematician.
The device consisted of a hollow metal sphere mounted on a stand with two bent nozzles protruding from it.
When water was heated in a container below, steam traveled into the sphere and exited through the nozzles, causing the sphere to spin.
This demonstrated the principle of using steam pressure to create motion. Although it was technically a steam engine because it converted steam energy into mechanical movement, the alopile was not used for any practical purpose.
And if you're not driving or anything, you should definitely look this up. It was really, really innovative, to be honest with you. But you should really Google a picture of that. It's really interesting.
I'll have to check it out.
Instead, it served as a scientific curiosity or novelty item. It wasn't until the 17th and 18th centuries that steam power was harnessed for practical applications, thanks to the work of inventors like Thomas Newcomen and James Watt.
So while the alopile was the first known steam-powered device, it did not lead directly to the development of industrial steam engines.
Then there's Denis Papin, who was a French physicist, mathematician, and inventor who lived in the late 17th and early 18th centuries.
He is best known for his pioneering work on steam power and pressure around the 1670s and 1680s.
Papin began conducting experiments with steam pressure, which eventually led him to develop ideas that laid the groundwork for the steam engine.
Papin's major contributions was the invention of the pressure cooker known as the steam digester in 1679.
What? The pressure cooker goes that far back?
I didn't even know. That's awesome.
Yeah. This device demonstrated the power of steam pressure and was a precursor to later steam technologies.
The steam digester uses sealed container to cook food faster under high pressure, and it featured a safety valve, one of the first of its kind, which became an essential component in future steam engines.
You should look up some of the early ones, but do you remember the old steam cooker where you would snap the lid on and put that little weight on the top that would just kind of wiggle and let the steam out? No?
I think I've seen that on a movie once.
Oh my gosh, am I really that old? My mom had one of those. I remember that thing.
I just got rid of a pressure cooker type pan set thing. I have an Instapot, so
I don't have an Instapot. Should I get one?
I recommend one.
Okay. Inspired by the force generated by steam, Papin later conceptualized a piston and cylinder engine.
In his design, steam would enter a cylinder, then be cooled and condensed, creating a vacuum that would pull down a piston.
This back and forth motion was a critical step toward converting steam energy into mechanical work.
However, Papin never succeeded in building a fully working version of his engine, largely due to the technological limitations of the time and lack of financial support.
Despite this, Papin's ideas were incredibly influential.
His theoretical work on steam power and pistons helped inspire later inventors, including Thomas Newcomb and James Watt.
The first practical steam engine was invented by Thomas Newcomen in 1712, marking a major milestone in the history of engineering and the Industrial Revolution.
Unlike earlier theoretical models or experimental designs such as those by Denis Papin, Newcomb's engine was the first to be successfully built, installed, and used on a large scale to perform real work.
Wow. Newcomb was an English blacksmith and inventor who recognized the need for a more effective way to pump water out of coal mines, which often flooded and became unusable. Well, I mean, the more you dig down, you're going to get that water buildup.
For
Just
sure.
think of all those, like this is going to be a game changer to pump water out.
Exactly. And to solve this problem, he developed what became known as the atmospheric steam engine.
His design used steam to create a vacuum in a cylinder, causing atmospheric pressure to push a piston down.
This motion was then transferred to a large beam, which in turn operated a pump.
The engine worked in cycles. Steam filled the cylinder, then was rapidly cooled by a spray of cold water, causing it to condense and form a vacuum.
This vacuum pulled the piston down, and then a counterweight helped lift it back up again for the next cycle.
Although slow and not very fuel efficient, the Newcomb engine was reliable, sturdy, and most importantly, practical for real industrial use.
Newcomb's steam engine didn't rely on high pressure steam, which made it relatively safe and suitable for use in places like coal mines, where it found its earliest applications.
Remember we were talking about that boiler pressure building up?
Right.
Yeah. Dozens and eventually hundreds of Newcomb engines were built across Britain and Europe, helping to revolutionize mining and laying the groundwork for future industrial machinery.
Though later improvements, especially by James Watt in the late 1700s, made steam engines more efficient and powerful, it was Newcomb's machine that first demonstrated that steam power could be harnessed effectively and consistently for large scale mechanical work.
His invention was a true turning point in technological history.
James Watt in the late 1700s made steam engines far more efficient, powerful, and versatile.
It was Watt's genius for both engineering and innovation that truly transformed the steam engine from a niche mining tool into a driving force of the Industrial Revolution.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Travel connects us. It's how we experience new cultures, make lasting memories, and grow together as a global community.
But let's be real, travel can be stressful.
That's why Level 8 creates luggage that's sleek, durable, and built to make your journey smoother.
Now is the perfect time to upgrade. Celebrate Level 8's anniversary with 20% off site wide using code PRE, capital A, capital S, and 20, now through July 23rd.
Prefer to shop later? Use code Level8Info10 anytime for 10% off, no expiration, no limits.
Level 8 luggage on another level.
Find the links and discount codes in the show notes. Hi, everyone. I want to tell you about tellmail.ai. Mail will guide your loved one through a personalized journey in storytelling. So, if you're looking for a unique gift for a birthday, anniversary, or a wedding gift, tellmail.ai is perfect and it will last for generations to come. Mail will help guide your loved one into a perfectly crafted story that can later be transferred into a hardcover book. And this will last for generations. It's like any other gift that you could possibly give. That's tellmail.ai. Hi, everyone. Ever wish your energy boost came in candy form instead of some can with sketchy ingredients? Look no more because energy rocks are here. This isn't your average energy product. It pops, literally. I was researching for a show the other day, struggling to stay awake when I tried these wild popping candy crystals called Energy Rocks. Within minutes, I was focused, alert, and wide awake. Total lifesaver. Energy Rocks are like pop rocks for grown-ups, packed with fast-acting caffeine, B12, and L-theanine for smooth, crash-free energy. Just rip, pour, and pop. No pills, no drink, no mess. With only 4 grams of sugar and flavors like pineapple, mango, and cherry berry, it's candy with a purpose. Perfect for students, gamers, busy parents, podcasters, or anyone who hits the wall. Pop, focus, go. With Energy Rocks, use code INFO on the go 20 off to get 20% off your first order or click the link in the show notes.
Watt, a Scottish inventor and mechanical engineer, began working on improving the Newcomen engine around 1765.
He noticed that one of its biggest flaws was wasting energy by repeatedly heating and cooling the same cylinder with each cycle.
His most revolutionary idea was to add a separate condenser, a chamber where steam could be cooled and condensed without lowering the temperature of a main cylinder.
This simple sounding change drastically improved fuel efficiency and allowed the engine to operate more smoothly and continuously. Think about that. I mean, you know, the first engine you're having to heat the water, then cool the water, heat the water, cool the water. Now you're using continuously hot water. The hot water is going into a tank or the steam, cool back down, and then reconverted back into steam again. Basically, is
Right.
what we're talking about.
Right. But he didn't stop there. He went on to invent a double acting engine, which used steam on both sides of the piston to provide power in both directions.
Oh, wow. He also introduced the rotative motion mechanism, allowing steam engines to power machines like spinning wheels, looms, and factory tools, not just water pumps.
This adaptation opened the door for steam engines to be used in factories, mills, and transportation, helping to mechanize industry and boost productivity unprecedented scale.
Watt's innovations turned the steam engine into a reliable and flexible source of power that could be used virtually anywhere, not just in coal mines, but in cities, workshops, and on moving vehicles.
Thanks to his improvements, steam power helped launch railroads, steamships, and large scale manufacturing.
In short, while Newcomb made the steam engine practical, it was Watt who made it revolutionary.
His work didn't just improve an invention, it changed the world economy, reshaped society, and fueled the rise of the modern industrial age.
The first steam-powered tractor, also known as a traction engine, was developed in the mid 1800s.
While several inventors contributed to its evolution,
Thomas Aveling, an English engineer, is most often credited with building the first practical steam-powered tractor in 1859. You know I had to bring it back to tractors, right?
of course you did. Evelyn converted a stationary portable steam engine, which had to be pulled by horses, into a self propelled machine by adding a drive mechanism to the wheels.
This transformed into what we now call a traction engine, essentially a steam-powered tractor that could move itself and haul loads.
It became incredibly useful for agriculture, especially for plowing, threshing, and powering machinery on farms.
Think about all that. And you got all these hands that are working, but now you can use this steam-powered tractor. Though steam tractors never fully replaced animal power in every region, they were a major leap toward mechanized farming and laid the groundwork for the internal combustion tractors that would follow in the 20th century.
So, how did the steam engine change the world?
Before the steam engine, factories had to be built near rivers to use water wheels for power.
Steam engines allowed factories to be built anywhere, not just near water, and run more powerful machines.
This led to mass production, faster manufacturing, and the growth of big industries like textiles, mining, and steel.
The steam engine revolutionized how people and goods traveled, completely transforming transportation in the 19th century.
Before steam power, travel was slow, unreliable, and heavily dependent on natural forces like wind and river currents.
Steam engines changed that by providing consistent, powerful propulsion that didn't rely on the weather.
Railroads became the backbone of the industrial transportation.
George Stephenson, often hailed as the father of railways, was a pioneering engineer who played a crucial role in the invention and development of the steam railroad.
In 1814, he built the first practical steam locomotive, called the Bolshoi, designed to haul coal wagons along the Killingsworth Colliery Railway in northern England.
This early locomotive proved steam power could be effectively used for moving heavy loads on rails, which was a significant breakthrough.
Stephenson's most famous creation, the rocket, which was developed in 1829 for the Rainhill Travels, a competition held to find the best locomotive design for the new Liverpool and Manchester Railway.
The rocket impressed judges with its innovative multi-tubular boiler and efficient design, setting new standards for speed and reliability.
Its success helped convince investors and the public that steam locomotives were a viable and transformative form of transportation.
In 1825, Stephenson's work culminated in the opening of the Stockton and Darlington Railway, the world's first public railway to use steam-powered locomotives to carry both goods and passengers.
This railway connected coal mines to ports, enabling faster and cheaper transport, and sparked the rapid expansion of rail networks across Britain and eventually the world.
Steam-powered locomotives played a vital role in the growth and expansion of the United States during the 19th century.
The first successful steam locomotive in America was the Best Friend of Charleston, built in 1830 for the South Carolina Canal and Railroad Company. It marked the beginning of steam-powered rail transport in the country.
The real transformation came with the building of the first transcontinental railroad, completed in 1869.
This monumental project connected the eastern U.S. rail network with the Pacific coast, drastically reducing travel time across the continent from months to about weeks. Could you imagine you're trying to go from one end to the other, like
On
you
horseback and in a wagon, and you're
yeah,
trying not to catch dysentery.
I was I was gonna go with the Oregon Trail there.
Steam locomotives were the engines that powered this massive feat, hauling passengers, mail, and freight across vast distances.
American steam locomotives evolved to meet the unique challenges of the country's vast landscapes, from mountains to plains.
Engineers developed larger, more powerful engines capable of pulling heavy loads over difficult terrain.
These locomotives helped open the American West to settlement, trade, and industry, fueling economic growth.
By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, steam locomotives were the backbone of American transportation, driving industrialization, urbanization, and commerce.
Their roar became a symbol of progress and the unstoppable energy of a rapidly growing nation.
Trade flourished and raw materials could be moved to factories, while finished goods could be distributed nationwide or exported.
Steamships revolutionized sea and river travel in several profound ways that reshaped global transportation and commerce.
Prior to the advent of steam power, ships depended entirely on wind, sails, and favorable weather conditions.
This made voyages unpredictable, slow, and often dangerous. Long journeys could be delayed for days or even weeks if the wind died down or if storms blew in.
Steamships changed all that by introducing engines that use steam power to propel vessels, allowing them to move consistently and swiftly regardless of the weather.
With steam power, ships could maintain regular schedules, which was a game changer for trade and passenger travel.
Businesses could rely on timely deliveries of goods, enabling expanded and international trade and the growth of global markets.
For passengers, steamships provided safer, faster, and more comfortable journeys across oceans and long rivers, making travel more accessible to broader range of people, including migrants seeking new opportunities and tourists exploring distant lands.
Steamships also opened up inland waterways as vital transportation routes. Rivers like the Mississippi in the United States and the Rhine in Europe became bustling highways of commerce and travel.
This helped develop regions that were previously difficult to reach, encouraging economic growth, settlement, and cultural exchange along these waterways.
Additionally, steamships reduced the travel time between continents from weeks to months or even days, shrinking the world in a way we never before thought possible.
This acceleration of movement helped fuel the Industrial Revolution by linking raw materials, factories, and markets more efficiently.
It also played a crucial role in colonial expansion, allowing imperial powers to project influence and control over distant territories with greater speed and reliability.
In summary, steamships transformed sea and river travel from a slow, uncertain adventure into a powerful engine of economic development, migration, and globalization, shaping the modern world in countless ways.
The steam engine, especially through its role in powering trains and expanding railroads, had a huge impact on how we think about and organize time, leading directly to the creation of standardized time zones.
Before trains, the steam powered transportation, people mostly used local solar time, meaning the time was set by the position of the sun in the sky.
Each town had its own local time based on when the sun was highest overhead, so time could vary by minutes or even hours between places just a few miles apart.
Just think about what you just said. Like, all right, I'm going to leave my little town. I'm going to go to your little town, which is what? We're about an hour and a half away from each other.
Yeah,
So let's just say I leave at 1 o'clock at my town, but I might arrive at 3 o'clock in your town. Like,
right.
that's crazy.
That is crazy.
But with the rapid expansion of railways powered by steam engines in the 19th century, this system became a huge problem, and I can understand why.
Right. Trains traveling fast between towns with different local times created confusion about schedules and made it difficult to run reliable, safe services.
Imagine trying to catch a train that leaves at 12 noon, but that noon means something different in each town.
To solve this, railway companies and governments began to adopt standardized time zones, dividing the world into regions where everyone agreed to set their clocks to the same time.
This system made train scheduling simpler and safer and eventually became the global standard we use today.
In short, the steam engine's ability to speed up travel forced people to rethink how time was measured and organized, leading to the creation of time zones to keep the world running on schedule.
Little factoid here. Factoid. Ever
Factoid.
ever wonder why Spain's time zone is so far different than everywhere else in the world?
Well, in 1940, during World War II, Spain's dictator Francisco Franco shifted the country's clocks forward to align with Nazi Germany's time zone as a political statement, even though it didn't match Spain's natural solar time. And since then, Spain never switched back.
So basically, Spain is living 1 hour ahead of where the sun really thinks it is. That's why Spaniards have late lunches, late dinners, and late nights. The clock says one thing, but the sun says something else.
So there you have it. From Hero's curious spinning sphere to Watt's powerhouse revolution, the steam engine wasn't just blowing off steam. It was blowing open the doors to modern industry, travel, and even how we tell time.
Without steam power, trains might still be horse-drawn, factories stuck by rivers, and time zones, well, just a confusing mess of local high noon guesses, right?
Absolutely. In short, the steam engine didn't just move pistons, it moved the world. And all that thanks to a bit of hot air and some clever engineering genius.
Talk about turning up the heat on progress.
Most certainly.
I had to get me a little dig in there too since you got one.
As you
S-
should.
So, we started off with steam engines, but steam engines really changed the world.
Absolutely.
I mean, James Watt, I mean, well, I know it started with Iran and then, but Watt really changed the world.
Right.
I
And
mean,
we wouldn't be getting anything anywhere without him and
no.
creating the steam engine.
And thanks to Watt for, time zones. Uh,
Yes, now we have standardized time instead of local high noon guesses.
yeah, I mean, did you think we were ever going to go down that road when we started off with steam engines?
No, but that
Yeah.
was a very nice round the water hole kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, steam engines changed the way we tell time. Not only the Industrial Revolution, but literally the way we tell time.
Right.
Kat, that's pretty much all I've got.
Me too. If you would like to support this podcast,
Click the Patreon links in the show notes.
William and I want to thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you for listening.
Join the Facebook group at Info on the Go
Share with us your show ideas.
or ask us a question.
Subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcast.
Send us a text using the link in the show notes or leave a review.
Email us at,
infoonthegopodcast@gmail.com.
and yes, that is all one word. Till next time.
Stay curious. Hi, everyone. We're on Patreon. Find the link in the show notes. Show off your love for being curious with the official Info on the Go merch.
Whether you're sipping your coffee from our sleek mug, staying warm in one of our cozy hoodies, or rocking that fun fact inspired t shirt, or just carrying one of your essentials in our reusable tote bag, you'll be repping curiosity and style everywhere you go.
Each item is designed with our curious, on the go community in mind, and every purchase helps support the show. Wear it, sip it, carry it. Info on the Go is more than a podcast, it's a way of life.
Patreon, find the link in the show notes.